Hey guys and welcome. Today we're going to take a look at Pax Prime 2015 as we highlight plans for DayZ's future development with lead producer Brian Hicks, joined on stage by Soma, Jamjar and X-Smack. Bi-weekly discussions about the state of the game with various community members, different playstyles, fighter, survivalist, etc.
As you said, we have a strong community on Twitch, we have a strong content creation community on YouTube, we have strong server communities. DayZ has forged a lot of friendships and a lot of visible personalities within that space.
Yeah.
So when I heard them talking about how they were doing, I believe they're doing weekly, which is probably a little too much, but scrums with community members. Like they actually sit down on, I believe they use Google Hangouts. They sit down with design and dev team members and people that represent certain areas of the type of play styles within their game. Let's say a combat scrum, for example. And they sit down and they talk with, like, all right, this is where we are with this build, and they listen to the top issues, concerns, questions, and suggestions from people that are representatives in each space. And that was one of the things that we're actually looking forward to doing now that we have 5.8 out, is going out and cherry-picking people for each type of say, common play style for DayZ.
And survivalist or someone that runs in the woods and hides, a combat guy, a coast killer.
Exactly, exactly. And set up bi-weekly scrums at first. We're going to try bi-weekly, where we sit down with these guys in Google Hangout and we hear their concerns.
Monthly bounty cash prizes for those who find security holes on servers without battle eye protection.
We've had some gains, mad sick gains, since I think it was
oh god
53 I think was the one we pushed the new enhanced battle layout, effectively shut down I'd say 99% of all public cheats. It was a huge improvement. I mean it just made the game more playable. But the next hurdle was how do we address private cheats, the cheats that intelligent reverse engineering developers or scripters will put together and only share with their friends. How do we get a hold of that? It's very, very, very difficult. They don't tell us where the holes are, you know.
Sure,
it's a game of cat and mouse. So one of the things we wanted to do is we wanted to look at offering a bounty, effectively. A bounty program.
Yeah. Please explain.
So now, this isn't rolled out just yet. We're looking at doing it over, say, the next month, maybe month and a half, and starting on a monthly scale. What we're going to do is we're going to offer a cash prize. We're going to open a portal up for people to submit what they believe is the biggest security hole, the biggest cheat. We'll have a submission place, a place to test them on BattleEye free servers, no BattleEye protection. So they can go in and actually hit the game without worrying about the anti-cheat system catching. And look for holes. They send their stuff in by the deadline every month, and we have a first, second, and third cash prize.
That's awesome.
Right now we're looking at the first prize person getting around 400 US, the second prize person about 250, and the third prize person about $100. And we'll adjust this based upon the feedback we get. But we're looking at doing this every month and continuing on until we hit 1.0.
So are people going to find your scripts and cheats when they go bounty hunting? Are you going to get banned?
Don't look at me. Don't catch me. I need the edge.
Survivor Games joins Bohemia Interactive's portfolio and becomes the official DayZ tournament.
The Survivor Games is now joining the Bohemia portfolio and will be the official tournament of DayZ. So we'll be able to get that team working a little bit closer with the DayZ team, and hopefully as DayZ ramps up in quality and finesse, we'll ramp straight up with it for the Survivor Games. And I'm really interested.
A fleshed out, nice Survivor Games that works.
Oh yeah.
Can't wait.
I'm really interested in the possibility of maybe doing an end of the year tournament as well to wrap things up for
Sing it to me.
New damage system prepared for public testing.
For me, I'm really excited to see how the new damage system operates once it hits experimental. One of the big things that people might not realize looking at DayZ is the legacy damage system. Every source of damage you do, whether it be punching, or a ray cast through a fire axe, or shooting a gun, it's all treated as a projectile on the engine side.
Right. Okay.
All a projectile. It's all technically a gun. The new damage system, part of putting that out there was the desire to break that up, so that fists were actually not treated like bullets. There was not a projectile assigned to them, so you wouldn't run into situations like, you know, early on when we had like was it 5.3 when he had some serious cheating problems. People would use a script that would tell the server that the projectile of the fists were, you know, an explosion or a 7.62 round or such.
Right.
The server just goes, okay, because it's just a gun, right? So moving to the new damage system will allow us to resolve a lot of stuff like that. It's probably going to cause a lot of problems. So those who enjoy experimental, as soon as it hits, hit that branch, play it to your heart's content, and open tickets at feedback.dayzgame.com. Super, super valuable for us.
New animation system, e.g. limping or being unable to raise a weapon with a broken arm.
We've got programmer working on the new animation system. Probably not going to make it by 5.9, but that's massively integral. It allows us, because we're still running the old legacy animation system. That's why you don't see some of the stuff we really wanted to do, like complex damage states on characters, right? So like, say you get shot and you're hurt. You might limp. Like maybe your leg's broken or something. Or not your leg's broken. Your arm's broken. So instead of being able to actually raise your weapon and hold it like so, you're dragging it because your arm's broken. You need to fix that thing. You're not going to be able to raise your weapon. Yeah. You know, you're limping if your leg's broken. So players that are observing you can actually gauge your character's state by seeing the information from your player's animation.
Or slow you down.
Or it could slow you down.
Yeah. Which
guaranteed.
Is usually a good reason to give up if they're catching up with you or something like that. Like usually if we're trying to like to subdue someone, I'll go for like a leg break. But if I can just slow them down with like, you know, fracture their leg or make them so they can't shoot, they're less of a threat, then a lot of people are probably going to live a lot more on the game just because you can neutralize someone without having to completely demolish them.
Exactly.
That'd be great.
Server performance increase with 20 to 30 FPS being the borderline.
Server side performance. A lot of what DayZ does is dependent upon everything from the physics that you see tied into ragdoll and throwing items to just scripts triggering based upon player actions and such. It's all dependent. And the performance on dev builds prior to this was like 5.5. It could get as low as just like 5 frames a second on the server.
Wow.
Now, simulation doesn't break down until you drop below 10. Server frame rate and client frame rate are two different things. Like,
sure.
But there were bad states where you could get to at that point. And in 5.7, it got better. It got a lot better. I think we got as high as like 15 average. But there were bugs where players could cause the server performance to drop and it wouldn't climb back up until a server restart.
Okay.
So for 5.8, like the big thing was I said, listen, I want us to be idling as close to 30 as possible, and I don't want us to drop below 20 in the worst case scenario.
Right.
Like 20 to 30, we have to be there. 20 is like the red line for the smoothness of the physics simulation. Below 20, if you remember on previous builds, you throw an item.
It would stagger.
Yeah. So on 5.8, you throw an item, and sometimes there'll be a trigger for the disconnect from the character, but once it enters flight, it's smooth.
Yeah, I've noticed
smooth
that.
And it drops. That's
more.
because the server is above that red line for physics, which is 20. Another red line we've identified that I'm fairly committed to is the vehicle simulation and the position of high-moving vehicles relative to the player. I think it happened a couple times when I was playing with you guys. We were near VMC, and I just got plowed by a V3S going through that you saw was like 5 feet away from me.
Yeah.
But on my screen, right over the top of my head. And that ties to like the server performance wasn't above 30.
Right.
And I'm not 100% confident in this, but I have a strong feeling that 30 is our red line for fast-moving vehicles.
Helicopters and planes before beta.
That's important because, you know, we've talked about aerial vehicles. And, you know, that's going to be coming up as we progress towards beta. Like, before we hit beta, we've got to have helicopters and airplanes. It's got to happen. And I refuse for those helicopters and airplanes to hit stable branch if they're not enjoyable.
Drivable Humvee.
Vehicles coming at 5.9 are planned for military-like vehicles. So, again, I'm not going to be giving any spoilers away. I don't want to announce anything.
Oh, come on, Brian. Just one. Just one.
Okay. All right, just one.
Yes. That's what it took?
Yes.
All right.
See, just for clarity, anytime I hang out with Jam, he's a horrible influence on me.
Terrible.
He ends up getting me to do things I would never do if it was any other person. But that's it.
Tequila.
Vinegar.
Yep, that happens.
On the question about the vehicles. I'm looking at chat. On the question of vehicles, yeah, we do want to put a Humvee in for the NATO military forces.
A Humvee?
A Humvee, yes, sir. We want to put a Humvee in for the NATO military forces. The wrecks are already all over Chernards.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm not going to say when it's going to happen, but it's something we want to put in there.
Shooting from vehicles.
one of the things my lead designer Peter was really passionate about was seeing if we could, when we look at things like shooting from vehicles, seeing if we could take it to the next level. It was cool that they could do it in Arma 3, but we'd like it to feel more natural, right? And there's no promises on this. Again, no promises, but we'd like to see if we can pull this off. The whole idea of, you know how you're in a vehicle, like Respawn on me, he's here somewhere probably. One of the things that Respawn does in DayZ is he likes to find V3Ss and drive people off the edge of the map, right? So as he's driving this person off the edge of the map, he's in a safe place, right? He feels safe in the cab of the vehicle, because as we're sitting there in DayZ right now, if you're driving and you decide, hey buddy, I'm going to take you up into the mountains, chop you up and feed you to my friends, what can I do other than bail out? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. So why not make it so that I can pop, you know? It'd be absolutely outstanding if we can do it. We'll see. We'll talk about it in status reports. I know Peter's really passionate about it, and I'm 100% behind him on this one. Then again, it's not something that Peter or I would have to do. This would be on the engine programs, the gameplay programs, the guy working on the animation system. So, surprise! I hope you enjoy this goal.
Contaminated areas, making gas masks useful.
But we have talked briefly in status reports on Twitter that we've thought about the idea of contaminated terrain, a reason to need to use the gas mask. And we will be talking more in detail about it, probably at TwitchCon. We'll have some time on the Twitch stage at TwitchCon to talk about some of the upcoming changes to DayZ. That's one of the ones I want to talk about, to go into more detail. But we are interested in it, and we want to do it. Check us out at TwitchCon on the Twitch booth. We'll tweet the schedule before and put it in the status report to find more information about that one.
No new map is currently being developed, but Sumrak, the Mouse map creator, works for Bohemia Interactive as a map mod support tester.
So when we posted the picture of Namalsk in the status report, if you read the text, we were using it as a test to see how existing legacy Arma 2 islands and stuff could be plugged in. We don't own Namalsk. That is a community mod made by someone on their own time. That said, he does work for us, the guy Adam that created Namalsk, and he is kind of for us our alpha tester when it comes to mod support. He's looking at what is going to be required for Namalsk to successfully plug into DayZ, for all the economy functions and player spawn points and so on and so forth, the nav mesh for the animals and infected to work. He's our prototype. He's blazing the trail, let us know what tools we need, how we need to improve the existing tools, so that when we hit the release of our server binaries and support modding by a Steam Workshop, that we're ready for it. But as far as new islands, new maps from us, there's no plan at this time. We're still working on Chernarus, and quality islands take a long time to put together. I mean, I'd love to see Taviana. That's kind of close to my heart. But again, I mean, Taviana, it's up to the owner of the island itself. So we'll see.
Optimization comes after the alpha phase.
Will be, well, optimized better. It hasn't been optimized at all yet. Optimization comes towards the end of development, when you're in your beta or you're past your content complete and moving towards your ZBR or your release candidate. At this point, any work we would do in the areas that really need it would be throwaway work. It would be on legacy systems that won't be there when the game ships. But yes, optimization, geez, that's all caps. What will be built in the northwest corner of the map? You'll have to wait and see. You will have to wait and see.
I like surprises.
The VSS sniper rifle will return in 059, and no bananas in holsters.
You'll never put a banana in your